Welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I'm going to be using the Lovely as a Tree stamp set, and I'm going to be doing some masking, a masking technique. So to start with, I've already pre-cut my base card, which is in Very Vanilla. So that's 8.5 by 5.5 and then scored at 4 1/4. Then I've taken from the Pretty Petals Designer Series paper stack, I've cut a piece of Designer Series paper at 5 1/4 by, at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 of an inch. I'll have the measurements below. And then I have a piece of Very Vanilla, which is going to be used as my masking. And that is 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. So we just put that aside. We just want the piece that we're going to mask to start with. And as you can see, I've already gone ahead and stamped a sentiment at the bottom, thanking you for your kindness, which is from the Wetlands stamp set, just in case you're wondering where that one came from. Now I'm just going to use some sticky notes, and it's not the square ones, it's the long ones. So I'm just going to line my masking, what I'm going to mask, up on my grid paper, because you've got to have the same amount of squares at the top, because I'm going to put a piece of masking paper across the bottom and a piece across the top. So we need 1 2 3 4. So we need that to go on the 4th one. We'll have to use 2 of these. Like that. And we'll just take another one. It's not quite long enough in this particular instance. Alright, then from the top we need to count 1 2 3 4 and have that one right on the 4. And then 1 2 3 4. So just line that up. Like so. So then I'm going to use some Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to be just sponging this part that isn't masked. So I'm going to sponge off, so you can see that I'm taking quite a lot of it off before it even hits the Very Vanilla. Those that know me are, oh, there's a little bug come in, know me that I do love my sponging techniques. So we just want to get a fair bit of yellow onto there. And we're going to be stamping on top of this, so it doesn't really have to be that perfect. I'm just going to keep building that yellow until I'm happy with it. Not too much longer. if there's ever anything that you would like me to do a tutorial on, just please leave it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to do a tutorial for you on any Stampin' Up products. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'm more than happy to help you. Just please drop me a line at bobby59@live.com.au if you live in Australia, or even if you've thought about joining Stampin' Up. I can tell you it's my best decision that I've ever made. I just love it. So if you've ever been thinking about joining Stampin' Up, I'll put the link below, or just put a comment there and I'll get back to you. Now I'm really happy how that sponging's covered there now. So I'm going to stop sponging now. Now I'm just going to take some old olive and I'm going to be stamping this big image across here. A lot of people use it at Christmas, but I like to use the Lovely as a Tree stamp set all year round. Now with this I'm just going to be stamping, just so you can see, I'm going to be stamping this way. I'm not putting my stamp onto the ink pad, I'm putting my ink pad onto the stamp, because this stamp set is it's got a lot of lovely lines on it and you want to get a really good coverage. Now for this effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp this down in the middle to start with. Like that. Now I'm just going to ink it up again. Now I'm going to stamp off, so stamp on my scrap once, and then where this big gap is in the middle here, I'm just lining the stamp up there and down it goes. So it gives you the effect of there's a couple of rows of trees instead of just one. So I'm just going to stamp up again, so I can see that I need to do it on the right hand side at the end there. But once again I'm going to stamp off first, just very lightly, and I'm just going to bring it in there. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. So we will take off our sticky notes and hope that the mask has worked. It's quite an effective technique. And I would suggest that you stamp your sentiment first underneath, because then you've got it exactly in the right spot. It's a lot easier. So it is quite effective. So what we'll do is I've got another piece of Fairy Vanilla, which is going to go inside my card. So I like to finish off my card, so I'm just going to stamp up that stamp set. I'm going to stamp it off, and then just to the side just going to stamp that up again, stamp it off, so you've got that on the inside of your card as well. So just got to let that dry. Now I'm going to bring in my designer series paper, and I'm debating whether to add ribbon, but I'm just going to line that up So I've got this beehive designer series paper happening, so I've got like 3 little sections down there, so I want about the same at the top, but it's not going to be exact. So just line that up with my grid paper. I want it to be about 3 beehives. Oops, nearly went upside down then. 3 beehives. Just letting the top touch the designer series paper first to make sure I've got it straight. And then just let that go down. It's going to be quite effective. So I did get some ribbon before I started. So how I do my ribbon, if you haven't seen it in previous tutorials, don't always do it like this. Not sure if I really want the ribbon on there. No, in this instance I'm going to leave the ribbon off. So then I'm just going to apply that. I'll apply the inside of this to the inside of the card. I'm just hoping my snail's going to hang out there until the end of the tutorial because I'm just waiting for my order to come. So just about there. There's still plenty of room for people to write a lovely message at the top. And I'm just going to, if I'm lucky enough, and I've got enough snail, otherwise I'm going to have to go the liquid glue. That looks like I've just made it. So lining it up on my grid paper again. I don't know what I'd do without this grid paper. Just makes it so much easier. So there. You've got a lovely thank you for your kindness card. And I think that's come up really nice with that effect. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope that it'll help you, give you some inspiration for your next card.